From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Good Tuesday morning. It is a bit of a wet start out there this morning for those of us in the Yakima Valley, specifically the lower Yakima Valley, also in the lower Columbia Basin. This little band of light rainfall is inching its way closer towards the Tri-Cities, so we're going to continue to track this throughout the rest of this morning. Also looks like there's some showers up in the Cascades. We'll continue to track that as well. Here's your umbrella cast for today for the Tri-Cities. You'll definitely need it for this morning, but really after 11 a.m. it's looking like it's going to be a mostly dry day. Wind's going to be a big factor once again for today. And once again, it's mainly going to be the Kittitas Valley and the Blue Foothills of Morrow County that'll see some of the strongest wind gusts. So we'll have a lot more to say about that a little bit later in the show. Right now, temperatures for lower elevations pretty mild. We're seeing 50s, even some low 60s up towards the Hanford side in northern Benton County. So for today, 60s and 70s. We'll have rain likely this morning, but again, mostly dry as we head into this afternoon. The bottom line for the forecast, more strong winds in the Kittitas Valley through tonight, also for the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. Getting very toasty by the end of this week, feeling summer-like, but you know, before that, or before we can even really soak that in, it's got to feel pretty spring-like again as we head into this week, and much cooler weather on the way and more wind gusts on the way as well. I'll break down all the craziness coming up on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now.
Right now on Good Morning Northwest, gunshots rang out near a Kennewick Safeway last night. We have the latest details and where the investigation stands this morning.
Plus a power struggle in Franklin County, why the sheriff says he's standing firm in a fight over guns, guards, and control of the jail.
And Kennewick made it to Livability's top 100 places to live in the U.S. We'll break down what earned the Tri-Cities the top spot for the second year in a row.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good Morning Northwest on your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Jade Elliott. It is Tuesday, April 29th, and we do begin this morning with some developing news out of Kennewick. Police are responding to reports of shots fired near Clearwater and Fillmore. This all happened around 6:30 last night.
That's right, and officers found 2 shell casings but did not know if anybody had been hit. They also contacted local hospitals to check for any related injuries. Police told Apple Valley News Now they believed someone fired from a moving car. Officers were investigating at 2 different locations. KPD also deployed drones and canine units during the search, and this was near the Clearwater Square apartments. By around 7:45 p.m., 3 suspects were taken into custody, and one of them was a male juvenile who was wanted by Pasco police for robbery.
Well, one person was sent to the hospital after a rollover crash on I-82. This crash was headed eastbound from Richland to Pasco near the bridge. It happened just before 11 Tuesday morning. Washington State Patrol saying it was a single vehicle crash. The driver told troopers that a tire blew out, causing him to lose control of the vehicle and then roll several times into the median. You're taking a look at video from the scene. Washington State Patrol added that they actually responded to several accidents that day, which they say is unusual for them this time of year.
It's clear outside, the roadways are dry, but they've investigated several similar collisions, and the majority of these collisions are caused by speed, inattention, and following too close. So if we could just get drivers to realize that driving is the most dangerous thing they're going to do on a daily basis. So when they get behind the wheel, please focus 100% on getting to your destination safely, and just be courteous to other drivers around you.
Washington State Patrol saying that this driver was wearing his seatbelt at the time of the accident and would like to remind drivers to always buckle up.
Turning now to a fire that broke out at a business in Pasco on North 3rd Avenue. Fire crews responded to the fire at a commercial building, and this was just before 10 p.m. last night. When they arrived, they found a small fire burning near the doorway. They searched the warehouse to make sure that no one was trapped inside.
We got dispatched at 9:41. Our first arriving crews were there at 9:52, and then we had it under control at 10:24. It's probably 15 to 20 minutes we had it under control.
Pasco crews were assisted by Kennewick Fire and Franklin County Fire District 3 crews. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the fire caused damage to the door and some materials inside the building. The cause is still under investigation.
And now to a follow-up on the Retreat fire that burned over 45,000 acres. This was just west of Natchez, and we're learning now that road work for post-fire repairs are going to start taking place soon. Officials say starting on May 5th and running through July, forest visitors should prepare for minor delays. This will be on forest roads 1400, 235, and 1401 in the Oak Creek area of the Natchez Ranger District. Travelers are advised to watch out for construction equipment along the roadside and also other maintenance work like cleaning ditches, laying gravel, creating rolling drainage dips, and installing culvert inlet modifications.
Now, in continuing coverage, things are heating up in Franklin County as the Sheriff Jim Raymond says he's standing his ground, literally and legally, in a messy power struggle over guns, guards, and control of the jail.
Our Dan Hansen's been following this story and has the very latest.
After last week's controversial vote to take over the Franklin County Jail, one message is clear from Sheriff Jim Raymond. He's fighting this.
I am objecting to that takeover, and I will win the case.
After that vote, the sheriff made a bold move, walking into the jail and seizing 50 guns. Now that's despite a judge telling him not to remove any equipment. But the sheriff says, hold on, those guns belong to his office and not the jail itself.
The sheriff is the chief executive officer and conservator of the peace of the county.
And it's not just the jail. The showdown spilled over into the courthouse too. Sheriff Raymond has blocked a private security company hired by the commissioners from taking over security duties there.
That's not the first attempt since they did their broad stroke.
But County Administrator Brian Danzel says the sheriff is defying a court order and putting safety at risk.
We're not interested in who wins PR contest. We want the guns back in. We want to just run the county and make sure that everyone's safe while doing so.
Danzel points to a Washington state audit highlighting issues at the jail as one of the big reasons the commissioners pushed for the change.
You get two audit findings, you have $2 million unaccounted for in a $10 million budget and take no responsibility for it. And then in fact say that you're going to push back on the state auditors. We have a lot of funding that comes from the state of Washington, and we were subject to sanctions if we don't enact some changes after the state audit. And so it's amazing to me, and actually kind of sad, that it's been allowed to be a he said versus she said. No.
Sheriff Raymond says he will meet this head on.
It's a personal vendetta towards the sheriff, and there's lots of reasons why they're doing what they're doing, but none of it's in the best interest of public safety.
Danzel says that's not true.
Well, this is an independent third party. This isn't the county auditor, the county commissioners, the county treasurer. I think he had one time laid blame at the county assessor. This isn't any of those people's, fault. This was the findings of the Washington State Auditor's Office. And I have to reiterate that every time because there's this gotcha type question that comes up about, well, it's this him versus the commissioner. No. But all I can tell you is that to defy what the state auditors find and in fact to tell them that you're not going to listen to their findings and you're not going to put any controls in place, that's really dangerous.
Meanwhile, Sheriff Raymond says once he gets legal counsel, he's going to fight to throw out the restraining order, calling the county's takeover effort unconstitutional. Sheriff Raymond says there's no time frame on when he'll get legal counsel, but one thing he wants the community to know is he was elected by them and he's here to serve them. Reporting in Pasco, Dan Hansen, Apple Valley News Now.
Dan, thank you so much for that update. 5:09 now, and for the second year in a row, Kennewick has been named one of the best places to live in the entire United States.
Woohoo. So every year, Livability conducts a list of the top 100 places to live, and Kennewick came out as the 50th best place. The list is derived from data that looks at a city's economy, housing and cost of living, and also its amenities and transportation, environment, safety, education, and also health.
Yeah, some of the things that put the Tri-Cities on top, Kennewick specifically, it ranked high for its transportation, housing, and cost of living, as well as its environment. statement. It specifically noted that there were a lot of outdoor amenities like hiking. You talk about, Badger, Candy Mountain, all of those, and the confluence of the Columbia, Snake, and Yakima rivers.
It also noted the city's noteworthy wine scene with more than 200 wineries within a 1-hour radius. Vancouver, Washington also made the list at number 23 and Spokane at number 60.
3 cities in Oregon also making the list: Gresham, Salem, and Eugene. And if you're curious about what made number 1, that would be Flower Mound, Texas.
And that is close by to where I grew up, so I find that very shocking because it's really random. It's like,
well, it must just be the perfect little place.
I guess so. I think it mentioned wildflowers there, and I'm like, I've never seen those, and I grew up there. Well, if you're curious about the other cities that made the list, you can find that list at livability.com. And coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, President Trump promised big changes in his first 100 days. And coming up, we take a look at what exactly he accomplished and what still lies ahead.
But first, give you that live look outside from our Bi-Mart camera in Yakima. When we come back, we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth. He'll have your first alert forecast. It's 10 minutes after 5. We're back after the break.
I met a cute poodle outside. She said everyone's talking about you and how you work for free.
When you're injured and have the heavy hitter on your team, we win or it's free. Hello? That cute poodle you were talking to wants to have a play date.
Let's go.
Call 853-2222.
Wild Horse Resort and Casino is bringing you an electrifying night with the iconic Grammy-nominated rock band Queensryche on Sunday, May 25th. Feel the energy and experience chart-topping hits like Jet City Woman and Silent Lucidity. Now's your chance to witness the unmistakable sound of one of rock's most celebrated bands, who've sold over 30 million albums worldwide. Tickets are on sale now at wildhorseresort.com or on the app. Plus, every ticket is good for $5 free play. Queensryche at Wild Horse Resort and Casino, Pendleton.
Irresistibly smooth chocolate. To put the world on pause. Lindor, made to melt you. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Spring is calling. Are you ready? At Queensgate Gardens in Richland, adventure starts in your own backyard. From lush hanging baskets to vibrant landscape flowers and garden starts, we've got everything to make your space bloom. Let's grow something amazing. Queensgate Gardens in Richland, where adventure grows.
And Consumer Reports.
We're testers.
This organization accepts no advertising or sponsorship.
Since 1936.
Testing dishwashers, TVs, cars, vacuums.
We buy directly from stores, just like you.
Making sure products are safe.
And that they last.
Because we're advocates.
Engineers and scientists. We're testers. We're Consumer Reports.
Join us.
I met a cute poodle outside. She said everyone's talking about you and how you work for free.
When you're injured and have the heavy hitter on your team, we win or it's free. Hello? That cute poodle you were talking to wants to have a play date.
Let's go.
Call 853-2222.
Tonight, President Donald J. Trump on his 100th day in office. His first network interview. President Trump, the first 100 days. The interview in the Oval Office. The ABC News exclusive. Tonight on ABC.
The 3-Degree Guarantee, sponsored by Legends Casino Hotel.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We have a wind advisory that's in place for the Kittitas Valley. This runs from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and we'll tell you about just how strong some of those wind gusts could be coming up a little bit later in the show. But now I want to pivot to temperatures this morning in Kittitas County. 40s and 50s for places like Cle Elum and Ellensburg, 55 for Vantage. We'll take it down to Yakima, where we're seeing temperatures spanning from 52 to 55. So pretty mild there, pretty mild in the lower Columbia Basin as well. 58 for the Tri-Cities, 51 in Umatilla. And then for the Blue Foothills, we're mostly seeing 50s, 46 in Heppner, and spanning from 40 to 44 for places like Ukiah. Meacham and Cabbage Hill. Here's your day planner for today for lower elevations. I'm thinking the best chances of rainfall likely going to be before 11 a.m. After that, should be a pleasant day. Temperatures getting up into the 60s and 70s. Pretty seasonal stuff for this time of the year. So for today, again, just kind of in summation, showers looking likely before 11 a.m. Could even have some thunderstorms up in the mountains. High temperatures getting into the 60s and 70s for lower elevations. Then for tonight, should be a mostly dry night, other than maybe perhaps a few showers left over in the mountains. Overnight lows falling down into the 30s and 40s for lower elevations. And we really heat things up towards the end of this week. I'll tell you about that, in addition to like a myriad of a bunch of other things coming up in a few minutes.
Josh, thanks so much. 5:15 in your national headlines this morning. Today, President Trump will mark 100 days in office of his second term. He's taken action on several issues, including immigration and levying tariffs on other countries. But the president has also come under fire from some Americans for some of his actions that he has taken. Karen Travers has more from Washington.
President Trump came into his second term promising swift change.
The golden age of America begins right now.
He hit the ground running, issuing more than 200 executive actions on his first day. He rescinded 78 Biden-era actions, declared a national emergency at the southern border, and commuted and pardoned January 6 rioters.
These people have been destroyed.
The president relying on executive actions to move his agenda forward, signing more than 140 since January 20th, according to the Federal Register. He has signed 5 bills into law. The first, the Laken Riley Act, named for the 22-year-old Georgia nursing student who was killed allegedly by an undocumented migrant. As he promised on the campaign trail, the Trump administration taking action on immigration. ICE raids across the country targeting undocumented migrants. The Department of Homeland Security claiming there have been 150,000 deportations so far. President Trump's biggest action on the economy, a sweeping set of steep tariffs on nearly 90 countries, a move he said would boost the economy and bring back manufacturing to the U.S.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
But the stock market took a nosedive. A week later, the president pausing the tariffs on most countries for 90 days.
We don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt, and they all want to negotiate.
But the trade standoff with China continues, the president putting a 145% tariff on Chinese goods and China retaliating. Experts warning that if this continues, Americans could see higher prices or empty shelves. President Trump meeting twice at the White House with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as his administration works to secure the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas. Trump vowed during the campaign to end the war between Russia and Ukraine on day one. In February, an explosive meeting in the Oval Office.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
President Trump put billionaire businessman Elon Musk in charge of reshaping the federal government, slashing the workforce and cutting costs.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
In just over 3 months, the Trump administration has shuttered the U.S. Agency for International Development and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, started the process to dismantle the Department of Education, and made significant cuts to the workforces at the Department of Health and Human Services, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Internal Revenue Service. At least 217 lawsuits have been filed challenging the administration's actions, 15 explicitly related to DOGE. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And today, President Trump is set to visit Michigan, where the administration has suggested he will ease some of the tariffs around auto imports, specifically foreign auto parts used in domestically manufactured vehicles. He's set to speak this evening. So much more ahead here on Good Morning Northwest. When we come back, we will check in with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth. He will have your full First Alert forecast as we give you that live look outside from our Bi-Mart camera in Yakima. It is 18 minutes after 5. We'll be right back.
Tuesdays are my favorite day of the week because the single Papa Burger combos are just $5.99. And I wait all week for this.
And so do I.
And that's why I always get two.
The Tuesday Special at A&W.
Meet the Moore family. They switched from cable internet to Ziply Fiber and got so much more. Mr. Moore got more upload speed for next level gaming and live streaming to the masses. Mason Moore got even more done for his sneaker business, quickly uploading HD product demos and video conferencing without freezing.
Brad, you're
on mute.
And now that her family doesn't need her for tech support, Mrs. Moore has more time to stream games into overtime.
Let's go!
Get more of what you love by switching to Ziply Fiber for $65 less per month than cable at ziplyfiber.com.
It's not easy being Mariano Morales' horse. He needs to ride the clients all the time. He does take care of them. He gets the insurance company to pay for medical bills, car repairs, and even money for pain and suffering. Looks like it's going to be another busy day. Better get warmed up. After all, I am his best friend.
Hurt in a car wreck? Give me a call.
Big or small, we work them all.
I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the heavy hitter.
The heavy hitter is the one for you. Call 853-2222.
Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a ride. Whether you're shaping up a small yard or taking on serious acreage, let's go the distance. Shop in-store and online for 0% financing and instant rebates on select Steel mowers. Steel. Let's go mow.
Good evening, everybody. To make great newscasts, you need great resources and an experienced team. Austin Reed grew up near Portland, where he started his broadcast career more than 20 years ago. His passion for reporting breaking news and for telling distinctive stories that affect positive change make him uniquely qualified to bring the news home to you each evening.
Get the best local news coverage every day, right here.
Wendy Redmond, Austin Reed, Stacey Lee, Apple Valley News Now at 5, 6, and 6:30 on your side.
On your side.
It's hump day, and you know what that means. Hello, Country Fried Steak. Get a delicious meal for just $5.99 to make your Wednesday feel like the weekend. Yes, Wednesdays only, Country Fried Steak is just $5.99. Happy hump day from KFC.
A great place for a family getaway. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. A lot of ebbs and flows to our forecast for the next 7 days, so why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it. So for today, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., have some very strong wind gusts, especially in the Kittitas Valley and in the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. We're talking gusts upwards of 45 to 55 miles per hour. Thankfully, the wind gusts are finally going to be much calmer for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and track some of these rain chances for today with Futurecast radar. We put this into motion 8 a.m. This is still situated right on top of the lower Columbia Basin and the Blue Foothills. This should be pretty light rainfall. By 11 a.m. should be wrapping up in the Blue Foothills, Walla Walla, Pendleton, places like that. And after that, maybe a few residual showers up in the mountains, but we're looking mostly dry. We'll continue to keep the forecast dry over the next couple of days. Here's some of the rainfall projections through 5 p.m. And again, keep in mind that most of this is going to wrap up before lunchtime, but maybe picking up 0.2 to 0.3 inches of rainfall up in the Blue Mountains, maybe upwards of 0.2 places like Walla Walla, so that would definitely be beneficial. Like I mentioned, we'll keep it dry for Wednesday and Thursday. Then there's this next storm system we're tracking into Friday and Saturday. This one, in terms of rainfall, so 5 p.m. on Friday to 5 in the morning on Sunday, we could have upwards of 0.4 to 0.5 inches of rainfall in the Blues, 0.3 to 0.4 up in the Cascades, 0.1 to 0.2 for the Blue Foothills. Definitely a lot less for the valleys and for the basin. But once again, now for the fourth weekend in a row, we're going to be dealing with some very gusty winds, specifically on Saturday, and specifically once again for the Kittitas Valley and for the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. So that's just, you know, we've found ourselves in that situation over the past few weekends. We're just going to deal with it again. High temperatures, seasonal over the next couple of days, surging for Friday, and then before you know it, back down to spring-like weather for Saturday and beyond. So for Friday, for lower elevations, we're going to be within striking distance of 90 in the Tri-Cities, more like low to mid-80s in the valleys and mid-80s for the foothills. Here is the 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. Rain likely this morning, turning summer-like by the end of the week, but much cooler by this weekend. In Yakima, Yakima, showers wrapping up this morning. Beautiful weather for the rest of the work week, then windy and substantially cooler by Saturday. In Ellensburg, the relentless stretch of winds will end tomorrow, only for more strong winds to come back into the picture starting on Saturday. In Hermiston, wet this morning with a windy day ahead, switching over to summer weather later this week, then switching back to spring by the weekend. Then for Walla Walla, rain likely today, drier and much warmer for Wednesday through Friday, then a 20 to 25 degree drop off from Friday to Saturday.
Still much more ahead here on Good Morning Northwest. When we come back, Netflix hosted its annual Toodum event, and a Hollywood icon is celebrating his 68th birthday. We'll have the latest from Hollywood coming up in your entertainment news. It's 5:24. We're back after the break.
Hey, your homework done?
Yep.
Hey, is your homework done?
This kinda is homework. So, what do you think?
I'm so proud of you. Can I play some more?
Is all your work done?
Washington's Lottery is a proud partner in the goal to promote college and career training. Each time you play, you're helping students statewide.
At Jewelry Design Center, we want to be your jeweler for life. We are locally owned and the largest jewelry store in the region, offering you a showroom filled with world-famous brands and designers. We are a team of artists, craftsmen, and professionals who create exclusive designs and one-of-a-kind pieces. Take time to think it over, but we are not your average jewelry store. From our hands to your heart, we are Jewelry Design Center, and we want to be your jeweler for life.
Spring is calling. Are you ready? At Queensgate Gardens in Richland, adventure starts in your own backyard. From lush hanging baskets to vibrant landscape flowers and garden starts, we've got everything to make your space bloom. Let's grow something amazing. Queensgate Gardens in Richland, where adventure grows.
For 60 years, Woods Nursery has been inspiring families to create beautiful, joyful gardens in our community. Spanning 5 acres, it's one of the largest nurseries in southeastern Washington, offering a vast selection of plants, trees, and flowers, all grown in the USA. Explore handcrafted ornamental pieces made by American artisans and get expert guidance from 3 generations of the Wood family, dedicated to helping you design stunning landscapes. Visit us today and discover everything you need to bring your outdoor space to life.
Did you know Astria Health has the only team of neurosurgeons in the Lower Valley? Patients no longer need to travel long distances to receive the spine care they need. Patients with spinal tumors, stenosis, herniated or degenerative disc diseases, spine trauma, fractures, or spinal cord injury can be seen by an Astria neurosurgeon in Prosser, Sunnyside, or Zillah. Ask your primary care provider for a referral to one of our neurosurgeons. Astria Health, exceptional rural health care close to home.
Celebrate Walla Walla is back June 19th through 21st. 3 days of world-class wine. Tour vineyards with winemakers, expand your palate, and don't miss the block party. This is Walla Walla Valley at its finest. Tickets are on sale now. Secure yours today.
Hello there. Watch live with Kelly and Mark.
Weekday mornings at 9 on Apple Valley News Now.
Welcome back, 527 in your entertainment news this morning. Netflix hosted its annual Toodum event, and all of the Netflix stars were in attendance.
So Thriller Sinners held its spot at the top for a second week, but that might be in part thanks to having a shout out from the Top Gun himself.
And Martha Stewart is dishing out secrets on the Kelly Clarkson Show. Melissa Don has this and more in today's Showbiz Wrap.
Netflix has hosted its annual Toodum fan event since 2020, but this year, in a first, it'll be live streamed on Netflix, of course. Toodum 2025 will stream live from LA on May 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern and features stars from hit Netflix shows like Emily in Paris, Squid Game, Stranger Things, Wednesday, and many more.
This ain't no house party.
Tom Cruise did his part to help the Michael B. Jordan vampire thriller Sinners keep its top spot at the box office for a second week. On Sunday, Cruise posted a photo of himself at a theater holding 2 tickets for the film and called it a must-see. Jordan reacted with a mind-blown emoji. Martha Stewart starred in a Super Bowl ad for Uber Eats earlier this year. But while appearing on the Kelly Clarkson Show April 28th, she made a startling confession.
You want to know a secret? I have never ordered in.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No. I drink your milkshake.
And Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis is 68 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And Daniel Day-Lewis is most known for his roles in There Will Be Blood, Lincoln, and of course, The Crucible.
I'm going to circle back around to Martha real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, happy birthday to him, but really,
never ordered in. Like,
I find her to be a truth teller.
I thought she was relatable, but that is not relatable.
When you're that good of a cook, I mean, who?
I guess so. I wouldn't know.
Who needs to order in?
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I would. I definitely would.
Okay, maybe she just has people that cook for her. Also.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
rich people aren't relatable.
Let's go back to that. Yeah, she's got someone in there helping her out. All right, so much more ahead here on Good Morning Northwest. Coming up, a Pasco City leader just earning a major leadership award, but he's not done yet. We're going to hear from Leo Perales about his plans for the future of Pasco.
That's coming up in your next half hour, but first, here are your Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, House lawmakers passed a bill to ban revenge porn. The bill is called the Take It Down Act. It will make it a federal crime to post sexually explicit photos or videos of a person without their consent. It applies to real images and those generated by artificial intelligence. The bill is backed by First Lady Melania Trump, and the president is expected to sign it. China's Huawei Technologies is reportedly preparing to test its most powerful AI chip. According to the Wall Street Journal, the company hopes its newly developed chip can replace some of the top processors made by U.S. chip giant NVIDIA. NVIDIA stocks fell on the news. A rocket carried 27 Amazon internet satellites into space overnight. The system will be more than 3,200 satellites when it's done. Amazon says satellites will provide internet access to rival the Starlink network owned by Elon Musk. Those are your Tech Bites.
What if she doesn't like it?
This time it's different. This has real chicken, sweet potatoes, and brown rice.
Oh yeah, Blue Tastefuls is different.
Looks like it's Blue Tastefuls from now on.
Blue Tastefuls, a taste they'll love, made from natural ingredients.
It's high noon, and the winter's clear. 7 out of 10 cats prefer Blue Tastefuls chicken to Heinz chicken. And with Tastefuls' delicious natural ingredients, it's easy to see why. Blue Tastefuls, a taste cats love made with natural ingredients.
Don't let congestion take over. Afrin No Drip. Wow. Ridiculously fast nasal congestion relief.
Wow.
The wow is real.
I always wanted to know why I am the way I am. My curiosity led me to Ancestry. It was amazing to see all the traits that I've gotten from my mother in my DNA. It's a family thing.
It's a family thing.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us and joining us here for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jade Elliott.
I'm Jessica DeLaw.
And I'm Josh Colbert.
All right, I've been liking the weather, but I know it's changing, isn't it?
Always.
It's changing in multiple ways over the next 7 days. It's going to get summer-like, and then before you know it, back to spring.
How would that happen? Why would that do that to us?
I don't know, just universal balance.
Yeah, why would it do that to us?
Do that. So unfair. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our 3-degree guarantee, sponsored by our friends at the Legends Casino and Hotel. Yesterday, I went with a forecast high of 75. It verified at 74. I was getting a little nervous because the clouds moved in a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but hey, it all panned out. Now the jackpot's up to $300. So here are the stakes for today. I'm going with the forecast high of 74 in Pasco Tri-Cities. So if it verifies between 71 to 77, the jackpot's going to go up to $325. If that doesn't happen, the jackpot could be yours. Find out how to win the jackpot by going to AppleValleyNewsNow.com, clicking on the contest page, or you could scan the QR code that's on your screen. Now what's on your screen is First Alert Radar. We're seeing this band of rainfall that's setting up. It's really running from Moses Lake all the way down through the basin and into the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. This continues to march off towards the east. We'll continue to track it throughout the rest of this morning. Here's your coatcast for today for the Tri-Cities. I'm thinking you're going to need the raincoat for this morning, but after that should be t-shirt weather out there, as it's going to be mostly seasonal for this time of the year. Wind's going to be a big factor once again, especially in the Kittitas Valley and in the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. But look at Hermiston, gusting upwards of 30 miles per hour right now, 35 miles per hour in Ellensburg. Temperatures mild out there for lower elevations. We're mostly in the 50s. Cutting it pretty close to 60 degrees in the Tri-Cities. So for today, 60s and 70s for lower elevations. Again, the best chances of rainfall are likely going to be before 11 a.m. After that, it should be a mostly dry day, but the winds are still going to be a factor. And to underscore that, I'll take you on that zone-by-zone tour of today's forecast. That's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Josh. Oh, we start your half hour with some news out of the state legislature. We gave you a recap on what's happened as the session adjourned just yesterday, but now we're looking at Senate Bill 5393, which proposes the closing of a care facility in Washington. This bill passed both the Senate and the House over the weekend, and this means Rainier School, a facility in Buckley that helps people with severe intellectual and development disabilities, will close by June 30th of 2027. It will close when there are no long-term residents left, and thanks to a new amendment, they are no longer accepting any long-term patients. Now, the bill had originally proposed the closing of another facility, the Yakima Valley School. However, the final version of the bill focused solely on Rainier School. Well, last week, the Washington Federation of State Employees met to discuss what this closure could mean for workers and families.
To see what our staff does with our clients and interaction is absolutely amazing. There's always something to do for our clients. It's a lot less expensive for our clients to live there than it is like at a solo house.
Our clients have been dealt a raw deal in life, and now they have to worry about losing their homes because of government mismanagement of our taxes.
So the Yakima facility had legislation passed in 2017 prohibiting new long-term admissions that year. The legislation sought closure to full residential care once the facility had 8 residents, a plan that remains unchanged. As of right now, the bill is awaiting the signature of the governor.
Looking now at a Pasco City Council member who started his elected term towards the end of November back in 2023. He's now officially announcing his re-election campaign. Our very own Monique Ledesma sat down with Councilman Leo Perales and reports that he feels he still has unfinished business. Take a look.
Leo Perales, council member for District 3 in Pasco, made his official announcement that he's looking to add another 4 years to his elected role.
I want 4 more years to address more issues, address some of those issues like the speeding in our neighborhoods, the gang infiltration that we see in our community, the economic development woes.
Perales says another thing he is setting his eyes on through his re-election is more commercial development in the Broadmoor area.
Losing Costco, that was really a big hit to the community. And so honestly, I want to try really hard on the council in promoting economic development. I really want to see Trader Joe's out there. I want to entice Chick-fil-A to come here. They're already looking to open up a spot over in Richland. We need to be we need to adapt to the ever-changing economic challenges we have, and we need to start actively enticing these individuals and companies to come to Pasco. And so I'm going to work really hard to do that.
Perales says through his election, he hopes he can inspire those who are thinking to run for an elected role within their community.
As a Latino, I hope to inspire other people who look to perhaps go into public service, but become a city council member, a school board member that you can provide input and you have valuable insights and experience, and you can make a difference in your community.
Perales says he plans to continue engaging with the Pasco community members. Part of that plan is going door to door and talking with people to hear what's impacting them. Reporting in Pasco, Monique Ledesma for Apple Valley News Now.
And Perales' current term is up at the end of this year. As of right now, no one has officially announced a run against him.
5:38 and taking you to Pasco, where the Tri-Cities Airport and Allegiant Air are celebrating 20 years of partnership in providing low-cost, nonstop travel to residents and the surrounding region. Since starting service in 2005, the airport says Allegiant has flown more than 1.4 million passengers in and out of PSC. The airline's strategy is to offer nonstop flights from small to medium-sized markets. Today, Allegiant offers service to Las Vegas and Phoenix. More great news now coming from the Memorial Foundation. Officials say through the community's support of the CHAMPS campaign, you can now get seen for maternal fetal medicine issues at the Yakima Children's Village. So this will be in the clinic's newly expanded medical specialty wing. Some patients say these services are critical to safely have a baby, as maternal fetal medicine services helps women, especially during high-risk pregnancies. This will also help a lot of patients since they won't have to drive out of town for these kinds of appointments.
Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, AI is evolving and influencing our lives in countless ways. But now new studies suggest more people are using AI to plan their vacations. We'll take a deep dive into the growing trend coming up in just a few minutes.
And giving you that live look outside this morning from our Legends Casino and Hotel Sky Camera at Richland's Columbia Point, overlooking the mighty Columbia and Howard Amon Park. When we come back, we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth with your first alert forecast. It's 5:39.
A great place for a family getaway. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Tuesdays are my favorite day of the week because the single Papa Burger combos are just $5.99. And I wait all week for this.
And so do I.
And that's why I always get two.
The Tuesday special at A&W.
At US Cellular, you can get the amazing new iPhone 16 on us, plus $300 off any iPad, like iPad Air.
That is a great deal. And now an unprompted song to express my excitement.
Just know both devices have Apple Intelligence with Genmoji to express yourself.
iPhone 16 stuns. iPad Air waits in the glow. Sweet.
We should start a band.
Yeah.
Get iPhone 16 on us. No trade-in or plan requirements, plus $300 off any iPad. US Cellular, built for us.
Ryan wants to get every new device that's smart. I'm wondering, how can the internet handle all of this?
We have Spectrum Internet. We use it for everything. Homework, remote work from home, doing research for trips.
Spectrum Internet allows us to do things faster and more conveniently.
I feel like that's a win-win for everybody.
Fast, reliable internet starting at $30 a month, backed by the Spectrum commitment to keep you connected.
Kittitas Valley Healthcare is your trusted home for health, offering expert orthopedic care for your family. With over 55 years of combined experience, our team uses state-of-the-art equipment to improve surgical outcomes and provide compassionate, patient-centered care. We're committed to making your experience comfortable and efficient, so you can stay active and healthy. Learn more and schedule a consultation through our website at kvhealthcare.org. Your home for health.
Rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. Discover Ghirardelli Caramel Squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
It's hump day, and you know what that means. Hello, Country Fried Steak. Get a delicious meal for just $5.99 to make your Wednesday feel like the weekend. Yes, Wednesdays only, Country Fried Steak is just $5.99. Happy hump day from KFC.
Tonight, President Donald J. Trump on his 100th day in office. His first network interview. President Trump, the first 100 days. The interview in the Oval Office. The ABC News exclusive. Tonight on ABC. Tonight, President Donald J. Trump on his 100th day in office. His first network interview. President Trump, the first 100 days. The interview in the Oval Office. The ABC News exclusive. Tonight on ABC.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Let's go ahead and take you on a zone-by-zone tour of today's forecast. We start off in Kittitas County, where we are going to see temperatures in the upper 40s up in the Cascades, mid-60s in the Kittitas Valley, and one of the biggest impacts to today's weather is going to be in the form of some very gusty winds in the Kittitas Valley. They could gust upwards of 55 miles per hour. Closer to 30 miles per hour in the Yakima Valley. We will have a little chance of some showers this morning. The rest of the day should be mostly dry. Highs getting into the low to mid 70s. Then for the lower Columbia Basin, Mid-60s for Boardman. Looks like the rest of the basin is probably going to be in the low to mid-70s, and it's also going to be pretty windy here as well. But these winds out of the south and west around 35 miles per hour. In the Blue Foothills, rain likely ending around 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Also windy, winds out of the north and west, with the fastest wind gusts being in the Blue Foothills of Morrow County. Places like Lexington and Heppner could see winds again up around 50 miles per hour. Highs are going to be in the low to mid 60s, maybe even some upper 60s for the Blue Foothills, and 50s in the higher terrain of the Blue Mountains. Now let's talk about the big picture, the snowpack surpluses and deficits we're running for this time of the year. The upper Yakima Basin, the Natchez Basin, and the Cascades, these numbers not looking great at all. In the blues, the Umatilla Basin, the Walla Walla Basin, we're seeing surpluses, but these surpluses aren't looking as good as they once were just a couple weeks back. But we do have some more rainfall on the way, so that's good news in the grand scheme of things. So I'll tell you how much we're expecting and when coming up in a few minutes.
Josh, thanks so much. Well, artificial intelligence helping you plan the perfect getaway with the summer travel season quickly approaching. Have you put the final touches on your vacation plans? Well, AI could help. Reporter Michael Yoshida has more on how this technology is impacting travel planning.
From flights to hotels and activities, trip planning can be a lot.
AI is really wonderful in doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Gabriela Garcia has organized several family vacations using artificial intelligence.
Helping source ideas, helping with organization.
ChatGPT can help with research and brainstorming, Hopper for hotel and flight prices, Mindtrip for itineraries. There are a whole host of other platforms and apps you can choose from too. Garcia says no matter which you use, be specific and remember.
It doesn't take into account things like mood or weather or if you're going to be hungry between certain activities.
That personal touch is why travel agent Alexis Williams says even with AI growing in popularity, her business continues to thrive.
AI can come and give ideas like this is their itinerary and this is it and now you need to go here and book it. See, I'm going to do all that booking for you.
Travel bloggers feeling the rise of smart tech too.
I wrote a blog post about the destination that I don't think anybody wrote about. And then I looked it up on ChatGPT and I found very similar information.
Chris Oberman says providing nuance and perspectives a machine can't is key, but also acknowledges AI is here to stay and now another
piece of the puzzle in the whole decision process. You read something on a blog and maybe you ask something like ChatGPT as well. And then from that information, you base your next trip.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
5:46, still ahead here on Good Morning Northwest. We have your morning sprint and everything you need to know as you head out the door this morning. Giving you that live look outside from our Legends Casino and Hotel Sky camera at Richland's Columbia Point. We'll check back in with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth. He'll have your full first alert forecast after the break.
Looking for the perfect spot to relax? Welcome to Hoops, your new favorite restaurant and bar, where the vibe is clean, the food is delicious, and the staff always friendly. Whether you're in for a night of trivia, a round of pool, darts, dancing, pull tabs, or karaoke, Hoops has it all. Great food, great people, Hoops, where every night is a great experience. Hoops Bar. Stop by today for your next great night out.
All right, everybody. I know it's easy to forget things, but we don't want you to miss this new deal from US Cellular. Save big with our best price ever. Just $15 a line when you get 4 lines.
Ooh, I can save enough to buy a gift for my understanding wife.
Sorry, I'm late.
Ooh, that's a great deal.
I have a facial. This was fun.
Oh, come on. You have flowers?
Save big with our best price ever. Just $15 a line when you get 4 lines. US Cellular, built for us.
I was a resident here. Think of me as one of you.
You're unbelievable. So unbelievable.
Prosser Memorial Health reminds you, watch Grey's Anatomy Thursdays. Prosser Memorial Health, this is how we care. It's the mother of all giveaways, where one lucky viewer wins this awesome Mother's Day collection. Check it out. Enter to win each day on the contest page at AppleValleyNewsNow.com. From Jewelry Design Center, The Flower Bar, Curve Appeal, Fiction, and AppleValleyNewsNow.com.
irresistibly smooth chocolate. To put the world on pause. Lindor, made to melt you. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Got a family reunion in the works? Make it unforgettable at Beaver Valley Lodge. With cozy rooms, beautiful mountain views, and plenty of space to gather, it's the perfect place to reconnect and make new memories. Book direct with us and get 10% off. That means more savings for barbecues, bonfires, and all those late-night laughs. So skip the middleman and book direct today, because great reunions start with the perfect place to stay. Beaver Valley Lodge. Come as a guest and leave as a friend.
Judy Justice, today at 4 on Apple Valley News Now.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Lots of active weather over the next 7 days. We'll go ahead and just jump right into it. Starting off with today, very gusty winds once again, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., specifically in the Kittitas Valley and in the Blue Foothills of Morrow County, as those winds out of the north and west between 45 to 55 miles per hour. That's certainly going to be the biggest impact to today's weather. But also, we'll see some impacts from some light rainfall. We'll put this into motion with Futurecast radar by 8 a.m. Looks like this is going to be situated right on top of the basin, also on top of the Blue Foothills. But around 11 a.m., this is going to be really the last gasp of this round of rainfall, so it should be wrapping up in places like Walla Walla and Pendleton and Adena, and then after that could have a few residual showers left over in the higher elevations, but I'm thinking it's going to end up being mostly dry. Here's some of the rainfall totals we're expecting from this round, maybe getting upwards of 0.2 to 0.3 inches in the Blue Mountains, upwards of 0.2 for the Blue Foothills. That's about all she wrote. We'll keep it pretty dry for Wednesday and Thursday. Then there's this next storm system we're tracking for Friday and Saturday. The rainfall from this one looking a little bit more impressive, upwards of maybe half an inch of rainfall up in the Blue Mountains, maybe upwards, maybe just a little bit less than that for the Cascades. Upwards of 0.2 inches of rainfall in the Blue Foothills, but less than that for the much less than that for the valleys and for the lower Columbia Basin. Once again, the biggest impact going to come in the form of some gusty winds for the fourth weekend in a row in the Kittitas Valley. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. In fact, it was getting ridiculous last weekend, but once again, winds out of the north and west between 50 to 55 miles per hour. And the reason why the winds are going to be so rowdy is because we're going to have such a stark drop off in temperatures from Friday to Saturday, cooling off by about 15 to 20 degrees. But touching on Friday, we could touch 90 degrees in the Tri-Cities for the first time this year. We're going to be within striking distance, low to mid 80s for the valleys, mid 80s in the Blue Foothills. A little taste of summer there. Here's the 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. Rain likely this morning, turning summer-like by the end of the week, but much cooler by this weekend. In Yakima, showers wrapping up this morning. Beautiful weather for the rest of the work week, then windy and substantially cooler by Saturday. In Ellensburg, the relentless stretch of winds will end tomorrow, only for more strong winds to come back into the picture this weekend. In Hermiston, wet this morning with a windy day ahead, switching over to summer weather later this week and switching back to spring by the weekend. Then for Walla Walla, rain likely today, drier and much warmer for Wednesday through Friday, then a 20 to 25 degree drop off from Friday to Saturday.
Now, the morning sprint.
5:52, time for your morning sprint and the top 5 local things that you need to know this morning. Kennewick police responding to shots fired near Clearwater and Fillmore last night around 6:30. Officers say they found some shell casings but didn't know if anyone had been hit. Police were investigating 2 different locations using drones and canines to search the area near Clearwater Square Apartments. They tell us around 7:45, 3 suspects were taken into custody. Officials say one of them was a young man wanted for robbery.
And a fire breaks out at a business on North 3rd Avenue in Pasco just before 10 last night. Firefighters found a small fire burning near the doorway. Many area fire crews assisted and had it under control within 30 minutes. No one was hurt, but there is damage to the door and some materials inside the building. The cause is under investigation.
For the second year in a row, Kennewick has been named one of the best places to live in the U.S. It's all according to Livability's list of top 100 places, and Kennewick came in 50th place. City ranked high for its transportation, housing, and cost of living, also for its environment with a lot of outdoor amenities and the robust wine scene. Vancouver and Spokane also made the list, as well as 3 cities in Oregon.
And what's in a name? Well, one winery in Prosser is asking for help in naming their new red wine blend. Thurston Wolf Winery is asking the community for their input on the 50-50 blend of Petit Verdot, also Malbec, and to submit a name, you can email carmen@thurstonwolfwinery.com. Submitting a name could also win you a $100 gift card to the winery. The final date to submit a name is on May 30th.
Well, if your personal library could use a few more books, the Friends of the Mid-Columbia Library has their biannual book sale starting tomorrow. It'll be at the Kennewick branch on Union Street, goes through May 4th. There will be deals on gently used books, DVDs, CDs, audiobooks, and so much more. All the money raised will help support local libraries. If you're a Friends member, you do have early access today from 4 to 7.
Turning now to your national headlines this morning, House Republicans are moving to stop efforts investigating Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and his controversial use of the app Signal. Democrats want to force a resolution of inquiry, and this would call on President Trump and Hegseth to turn over all communications about military operations that were shared on Signal. Failing to block the resolution would trigger a vote before the full House.
In your business headlines this morning at 5:54, Walmart and Target have resumed business with some of their Chinese suppliers. U.S. retail giants had paused orders for a few weeks due to uncertainties over the imposition of U.S. tariffs on goods imported from China. Well, the resumption comes just days after a meeting last week between President Trump and the heads of Walmart, Target, Lowe's, and Home Depot.
In your health headlines, according to a White House memo, the Trump administration says nearly $500 million in grants to study the transgender community have been canceled. The memo details steps the administration has taken to comply with the January executive order banning the federal government from funding or facilitating gender-affirming care for children. It also says one of the hundreds of research and education grants that the HHS has canceled, 215 were focused on the transgender community, and those grants totaled $477 million.
5:55 and trending this morning, a letter written by a Titanic survivor sold for nearly $400,000 over the weekend.
Rose? No. Well, it's
a
first-class passenger, Archibald Gracie, was one of the most well-known survivors on board the ship, and on April 10th, 1912, he wrote of the ill-fated steamliner, saying, quote, "It's a fine ship, but I shall await my journey's end before I pass judgment on her." Oof. Ugh. The letter sold Saturday for $399,000 at auction to a private collector from the U.S.
As the Titanic sank, Gracie jumped from the ship and managed to cling on to an overturned boat. He went on to write a book about his experiences, but he did not fully recover from hypothermia and died later that year.
Now that's a healthy way of being obsessed with the Titanic, not getting in the submersible to go see it.
Right.
Too soon? I think so.
I'm just saying, the story that he has.
I know.
Just incredible.
Remarkable.
I know. I'm pretty fascinated by the Titanic and all the things.
Me too.
Yeah.
It gives me the EBGBs.
Does it?
I would never want to go down there just
that part.
because it's creepy, but then you add the other factors.
The issues? Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, still much more ahead here on Good Morning Northwest. Tensions continuing to rise in Franklin County as the sheriff is pushing back in the battle over the control of the jail. What he says is to come in the future.
Plus, a Pasco City Councilman just earned a big honor and hints what might be next. We have all those details coming up in our 6 o'clock hour. And Josh, what are you tracking?
It's more winds, but then some hotter temperatures for the end of this week. Then it gets cooler for the weekend, and guess what? More winds. I'll tell you about all of it coming up on Good Morning Northwest at 6.